Today we're drawing Flynn Ryder from Disney's Tangled, one of my favorite characters from the movie, and I'm going to keep this simple so it's easy for you to follow along, starting with some basic shapes first and then slowly building up the details after. And for this lesson I'll be drawing with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick. Now if you don't have a mechanical pencil, anything you have around the house will work just fine. So we're going to get started by setting up a drawing with a series of guidelines. Let's start at the very top right in the center. I'm just going to sketch a line coming down the center of our page, just using these short sketchy lines coming all the way down towards the bottom. Now let's move back up to the top, right in the center, draw another line going across from left to right. And these lines are going to help us balance out our drawing. Let's move to the center of our circle. We're going to go all the way up towards the top. We're just going to mark off this area right up here. Let's measure this distance from the center down towards the bottom. Do the same thing. And then we'll repeat that across this horizontal line. So measuring the distance from the center over towards the left and then the right side. And we're going to connect each center point with a curve to create a circle. So let's start with the top left. Go all the way around. Now this circle doesn't have to be perfect. We're just using this as a guide. Just go back and just smooth this out as best we can. Let's add another guideline coming down the side of our circle, starting with the left, coming all the way down towards the bottom. Do the same thing on the right. And then add one more line going across the bottom of our circle. Now that we have our guidelines and circle in place, we're going to start blocking out the key facial features. Now I want to start off by adding a gap in between the eyes. So from that center line, let's move over towards the left, right about here. Draw a straight line coming down. Now we want to measure that distance over towards the right side and do the same thing, coming all the way down towards the bottom. Now in this area, we're going to draw an oval for the eye. It's going to start right along this line, going up toward the center line, come around the outside, and then pull that back in. And do the same thing on the right, just drawing that same size oval. Now in the center, let's draw a straight line going across the eyelid. From this line, we're going to step up, draw a straight line going across the brow. Now I'm going to give our character some expression by raising up the right brow. So we're going to start by lining this up, just extending these lines going up, go up towards the top, bend this across, and then down. Let's go up here, step up, curves down and out, and then from the top right, taper out towards a point. Now I'm going to surround this point with a circle for the tip of the nose. And from these 2 points right here, curve the top of the nose, going up and then down. From the tip of the nose along the bottom, step down, add a straight line going across the mouth. Now this character has quite a long chin, so we're going to start right down here. It's going to mark off the chin, and we can always come back and just readjust later. Let's go to the side of our circle, draw a straight angle line coming down and in towards that mouth line. Angle this down and in towards the chin. Now that we've blocked in the face area, let's do the same thing around the outside. We're going to line up the eyelid, just going to curve this around and then in, just blocking out the space for the ear. And then from the outside of the ear, we're going to go up, adding some volume to the hair, going across, and then bring that down along the outside of the right ear. From the jaw, step in, draw 2 straight lines coming down the side of the neck. And then right here, right where this chin line meets the neck, slope the shoulders, coming down and then out. Let's go to the bottom of the ear, I'm going to curve the back of the hair, coming down and then in towards the side of the neck. Let's go up to the top of our circle, step down, add the hairline with a curve, just going across from left to right. Now the part's going to start over on the left side. So right here, it's going to bend this out and then up. Let's bring in some of that hair coming down around the left eye. It's going to bend this out, just crossing the edge of the eye and then down, and then bend that up and then in towards that seam. Let's add some hair coming down across the right side. Pull this down towards the side. Let's go back to the inside, curve this up and out, bend this around and then in. Now that we have our rough sketch in place, we're going to go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. And this will help us get a better look at our drawing. Now once we clean up our drawing, I'm going to go back and use this rough sketch as a guide to help us layer on some more details and refine the shapes. And I want to start with the eyelid. Let's start from the inside. We're going to add this curve going across and then down towards the side. Now because the hair is going to overlap the eye, I'm just going to fade this out. Let's do the same thing on the right. Adding a curve to this straight line. Again, we're just using these lines or this rough sketch as a guide. Just adding some more shape and detail as we go. And right here, it's going to add some lashes going out towards a point. Now let's draw the inside of the eye. On the bottom, coming down, and then fading that out. Just add that fold across the inside of the eye, going up and out. I want to go a little bit darker across the top, and then taper that out towards the side. And then from here, it's going to add a little fold and detail around the bottom of the eyes. Now from here, we're going to locate the iris and pupil. So we're just going to pull this in slightly. So we start by lightly sketching out a half circle, leaving a gap along the inside. You can just readjust this, making sure that it doesn't look cross-eyed and that it's not too far apart. And once we're happy with the placement, so draw a smaller circle in the center, a smaller half circle, the edge of the pupil, and a small circle on the left side, just overlapping the edge of the pupil for a highlight. Go back and just darken up the edge of the pupils. And I'm just going to darken up the inside going around that highlight. Now let's go up to the top. We're going to add some more shape to the eyebrow. Curve this across. And I just want to pull this in a little bit closer towards the center. Bring this up towards the top. Taper that out. Do the same thing on the right. Just going to bring this in closer. Go across and then down. Now I'm just going to lightly shade the inside of the eyebrows. Just going to add a little curve from the inside of the eyebrow coming down along the side of the nose bridge. Just add a little bit more shape. And then go all the way down towards the bottom. Add some detail to the nose. We're going to start with the middle, with a curve. Going up towards the nostril and then down towards the side. Shade the top of the nostril and then fade that down. A little bump along the inside center of the nose. And then we move down and add some shape to the mouth. We start with a little point in the center and a little wave going across and then out towards the corner of the mouth. Let's give this character a large smile. I'm going to add a bracket on the corner and just aim towards the outside of the nose. I'm going to give this character some thin lips. Start with the bottom lip, in towards the middle, and then the upper lip. Now from here, we're going to add some shape and detail to the hair. So we're going to separate the tip, adding some texture, then go around the eye and then in. Now right here, we're going to add some texture coming out from that part. Work our way around the eye, from the edge of the hair coming down. I'm just going to flick this out towards the side. Now I'm just going to separate the end, again adding some more texture going up. Just brush the hair going over towards the right side. Just going to bring the hair around the side. and adding a little bit more shape along the side of the head. Coming around, I'm just going to pull this in towards the ear. Again, just layering some more texture inside. And I'm going to add a little bit more shape to the ear, coming down towards the earlobe. I can start adding some more shape to the jawline. Coming down, just going to round out the corner of the jaw. Now this is where we can adjust the length of the chin if we need to. So we can bring this down a little bit lower, round out the chin. It's going to layer a shape across the bottom, a little curve, to just locate the goatee. And then right here, just going to lightly shade that in. Just going to finish off the hair along the side, add a little curl on the end just to add a little bit more character. Now with the collar and neck, I'm just going to bring this across the side of the neck and in. From the inside, bend the collar coming down towards the bottom, angle this out towards the side, and we'll just tuck the side of the neck in behind. Let's add a seam for the collar, and then bend the shoulders. So the inner collar inside. And then we're going to go back and do one final cleanup before we get into the details and shading. Now once we're happy with the general shape and proportions of a rough sketch, I'm going to go in and start adding some more contrast to our drawing. I'm going to start with the overlapping parts first. So I'm going to start with the hair, just overlapping the left eye, just along the bottom. And we're going to add a little bit more texture inside. Now once we have that hair in place, we're going to go back to the eye. Now I'm using a separate piece of paper underneath my hand just to prevent any smudging. Again, we can add some more detail and shape. So we start along the eyelid. Add a little soft shading underneath the eye. And now, I'm just going to detail out the pupil and iris. So I'm just darken up the pupil. And trace the outer edge of the iris. Now inside the iris, I'm going to lightly add a medium tone and a little bit of texture with these short little lines going across. Set that fold across the brow. And going up and working our way across the eyebrow. Now I want to enhance that texture inside. So we start from the bottom, just pull this up and out. So it's a little bit darker across the bottom. And I'm just going to brush this out towards the left. And then from here, we're just going to work our way across the nose. going to continue to add some more texture across the goatee. Starting from the bottom, we want to go a little bit darker across the bottom and then just gradually fade that up. We're going to do this in layers so that we're not trying to cover the whole thing in one complete stroke. Just going to layer this up. Just pull this up a little bit higher in the center to create a bit of a point. Now we're going to go back and start adding some more texture to the hair. And we're starting from that center seam and then just brushing this out towards the side. I'm just going to wrap the collar in behind the neck. So I'm just going to pull this back in and then just darken up the inside. And now I'm just going to move to the side edge of my 2mm pencil and just add some shadows. Now I'm going to start with this area just underneath the eyebrow. We're just going to push this into a shadow area. So darkening up the side, fading that in towards the nose bridge, and then coming down in between the eye and the nose bridge. And we'll fade that out. Now on the right side, we're just going to start along the bottom. Now because this area is exposed in light a little bit more, I'm just going to fade that up towards the top. And we're only pushing in this area of the eyelid. Fade that out towards the side. Now for the light source, we're positioning this up above the character, coming down. So any shape that's pushed underneath is going to go in shadow, and then the rest will be in highlight. Just going to soften up the edge of the eyelid. I'm going to darken out the bottom of the nose, pushing this into shadow again, slight curve, and then the nose is going to cast a shadow coming down towards the mouth. So you can see that anywhere we place a shadow, we start to add some more shape to the head. So just bending the face, going around the jaw, darkening that up, and then fade that in. And again, this hair is going to cast a shadow across the head, and want to fade that in. And then with the hair, I'm just adding some texture along the outside tips, and then also from the hairline going out. And this technique is going to help us create a nice little highlight in the center of the sections of hair. Bring some of that texture going across the highlight areas. And now the head's going to cast a shadow across the neck. So darkening up the top and then fading that down. Add a light tone to the vest. And we can go back in and just layer on some finer details on top of our shading, just to help blend this in. And once we get closer to the end, I'm just going to tighten up our shadows and details, and always be sure to sign our artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Flynn Ryder from Tangled. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you want to level up your skills, you can always check out our Excel sketch channel. I'm posting new lessons there every single week. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.